if she went to the same school as me, I don't know if I would have passed school. So it was great to have a girlfriend that went to a different school.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Coaches on Couches. Being slouches. I'm a little off today. I'm missing my compadre over here. But today we're talking to Tim Linn. Is on the couch today. I am Coach Dale Sanford. I am a co-founder of BPC Performance Coaching, where we specialize in helping time-crunched athletes optimize their busy schedules so they can maximize their athletic performance. Every BPC coach is trained in our 5 pillars coaching system that has been developed over the last decade with our work from athletes of all ages and abilities, from fresh off the couch to world championship competitors. You can find out more about BPC by going to Build Peak Compete, checking Facebook and YouTube at Build Peak Compete, or all up on Insta at BPC Performance. Had to do that all by myself. I usually have backup. All right. Well, we will get to our conversation with Tim here, but first, shout-outs. So we had a little break here going into the 4th of July week. We took a week off, and but our athletes did not. So we had the Tennessee State time trial last weekend. So we've got Leigh Ruston and Cindy Clark finishing 3rd and 4th in the women's Cat 3 division. Dr. James Downing finishing 3rd in his division. Adam Firrone finishing 3rd in his division. And then a couple of our buddies had some standout performances. Matt Joyner, Kirsten Sass, and Scott Rollins all had some really good times there. And then the next day, I can't even pronounce this race, Espinosa del Diablo. I think I hit it there. Leigh Ruston was third in her race. So decent race weekend. Mostly, most racing kind of cuts down around the 4th of July holiday, but state TT is always there.
I'll have some races that you can't pronounce later that we'll talk about.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you handle all the pronunciations here in a moment. All right, well, let's jump to it. We've got Tim Linn on the couch today. Tim is a pro triathlete over in Korea. He is actually from our area, from the Memphis area. So a couple of quick stats on Tim here. What year was it? ITU Asian Long Course Championships.
Yeah, 2018.
2018 top 10 finish, so great performance there. And then the Hunsung
double Olympic distance.
Yeah, Hunsung double Olympic, which you say is kind of your sweet spot distance there.
Yeah, I think it's a true distance. It doesn't skimp on the swim.
That's right. We'll get into that. But Tim's a 3-time 3 out of 4 winner of that double Olympic in Hunsung. Yep. So let's jump into let's just get all up in your business.
Yeah.
A little about you and your past. You are from Memphis, so kind of go into your family past here.
Yeah. Born and raised Memphis, Tennessee. I come from a big family.
Massive family, actually.
Yeah. I've got 5 brothers, 1 sister. And so having 5 brothers, we were always competitive in everything. So I grew up doing pretty much every sport, minus American football. That was the one sport never had any interest in.
Yeah.
But
don't like taking hits?
Nah. And I drifted towards individual sports.
Yeah, sure.
So my dad was a swimmer for Vanderbilt, and so naturally we all had to join swim team at young age, yeah. And I ended up loving that sport and did it all the way through college.
Where did you swim?
I swam at Wheaton College.
Okay.
Right outside Illinois.
Yeah. Don't they have a good cycling team? Or am I wrong on that?
I'm not sure. It wasn't around when I was there.
Gotcha.
So yeah, in high school I ran cross country track. So I did the whole cross country, swimming, track in high school, which was great. Got into triathlons actually for the first time in middle school.
Cool.
So this is going back to the Germantown Kids Triathlon in the 1990s and the Iron Kids Triathlon. I got into those. Good buddies of mine that still live here, Emron and Rayhan Mahmood, were really big into the triathlon scene, and they hooked me in. And so throughout late middle school, early high school, started to excel in triathlons, and even this was the time frame when they were just coming out with the draft legal format. So early 2000s, I was doing some training camps in St. Leo, Florida, and doing some draft legal racing, and met a lot of people. Some people that stuck with triathlons all the way through college, like Dustin and Sarah McClarty, are good friends when I was at those triathlon camps. And so yeah, I did not come into triathlons just as an adult. I had a background in triathlons, but at that time, the swimming was so important for the draft legal. The advice that I was given was specialize in swimming in college and then come back to triathlons later. So
that was the attitude, like for the draft legal track was to...
Yeah, at that point in time, the swim was so important. It was so important to be in the lead pack that if you really wanted to excel in triathlons in the future, that go specialize in swimming in college. The problem was I drifted towards sprint swimming. And so that didn't really made me fast, but fast for like a minute.
So you could get out with the lead pack.
Yeah, I can get out the first 100 meters with the lead pack. And even to this day, I still have that sprint stroke. And we could talk about this later, but what I've had to develop is a distance open water stroke. And that's something I did not have coming out of college.
It's so different.
Yeah, it's completely different. And so that's been a learning curve for me. But going back to my sport upbringing, did swimming all through college, specialized in the 50, 100 freestyle, did the 200 freestyle as well. But pretty much a sprint freestyler with a sprint freestyler's mentality of
all or nothing.
All or nothing, and I'm going to hit the weight room and do as little meters, as short of practices as possible, but still swim fast. So if I have one regret, it was that I didn't do middle to long distance swimming in college.
Gotcha.
Because that would have benefited me a lot more than just sprint swimming. The nice thing, because I do coaching now, the nice thing with sprint swimming though is now I'm very particular about technique.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
it makes a huge difference. I mean, like of the three sports, when I, especially taking on somebody who's not didn't grow up swimming, like the technical demands of swimming are far beyond cycling and running. And so many people like just want to do the distance and like just want to, if you're doing an Ironman, they want to like go out and they just want to do a 4,000 yard swim to make them feel like they can do it. But you can gain so much by spending 1 to 2 swims a week just on your technical ability in the water. It just
and not only would you be gaining minutes off your overall time, but it has performance benefits because you're so much fresher cycling and running. Fresher
to the bike is that's, in my opinion, that's the best benefit of having a strong swim is just being fresher to the bike. There's not too many people that are going to win the race being first out of the water. Every once in a while, you get a Andy Potts or who just blows it out and then can hold it. But it's the ones that get to the bike quick enough and they're fresh and they can just smash the bike and then smash the run. That's always been my attitude toward swim training is just get there, be as fresh to the bike as possible.
Yeah.
So you yourself have a pretty big growing family.
Yeah. My wife and I got married in 2008, and we were both, she went to Briarcrest, I went to ECS. So we were we were high school sweethearts though, started dating when we were sophomore, junior in high school. And then she went to Middle Tennessee State, I went to Wheaton College, but we dated all through college, which was great for me to...
kept it together.
Yeah, and it also, I don't think, if she went to the same school as me, I don't know if I would have passed school. So it was great to have a girlfriend that went to a different school.
Less distraction.
Yeah, less distraction. I was able to swim and study and at least pass college. And then got married right after college, moved back here to Memphis, and we were both like, it felt like glorified dating.
Yeah. Being
back in the hometown that we were high school sweethearts in. Yeah. So we're like, we need to get away from Memphis and kind of establish our own family. At that time, I got a random Facebook message from a previous high school coach of mine that went out to South Korea to work at an international school. And he knew that I swam in college and knew that I had graduated. And so he sent me a message, was like, hey, we've got a pool and a position open at this international school. And so my wife and I were like, that's awesome. We can go out there 2 years, have this international experience, kind of establish us. And 10 years later, now we're still in South Korea, still working at this awesome international school. And I've got an 8-year-old boy, Titus, a 7-year-old boy, Axon, a 5-year-old boy, Isaac, and we're in the process of adopting a little girl that she's Korean that we have there, and her name is Unbil, which in Korean means silver star.
Nice.
So
the boy genes.
Yes, they've run true for my family at
strong.
least. Yeah,
strong.
So I didn't want to roll the dice. I think God has too much of a sense of humor to roll the dice on, because I didn't want a fourth boy, but I definitely wanted a daughter.
Sure.
So
you got three protectors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and they love her. They protect her for sure.
That's awesome.
They dote on her all the time.
That's great, man. So we talked about this a little. You kind of got out of triathlon. Was it like in college, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much in college. I did. I just did swimming.
Yep.
In college, strangely enough, I actually pole vaulted for a year as well in college. I did decathlon in high school.
I gotcha.
And so, and pole vaulted in high school as a part of track.
Cool.
That was just. I think that's my mother was a gymnast. And that was kind of that playing out.
Yep.
But yeah. So then got out of triathlons really all throughout college.
So what was the time span there that you did not do?
So probably I didn't do any triathlons my senior year of high school.
Okay.
It was more swimming and track and field focused.
Yep.
And then all of college, I completely transformed, went from like 150-pound, scrawny, good for distance guy, ballooning up to close to 180 pounds, which on a 5'9" frame was a lot of time in the weight room.
Yeah, I've been there.
And then doing the sprint swimming.
Yeah.
And it was great. I Wheaton was a fantastic place, and the swim team is just incredible there. But from a athletic standpoint, then finishing, I was not in a place to do endurance running. So I came back and trained for Memphis in May, I think the year after I graduated college.
Okay.
Trained for Memphis in May and did it. Cramped through the run. But I was not.
Well, good thing it's not usually hot.
Yeah. So I did that one kind of year.
Yeah.
That right when we first got married.
Gotcha.
I trained a little bit and did Memphis in May triathlon. I think I might have done Dragonfly as well.
And then you just kind of got out of it.
And then once we moved to Korea, just completely
yep.
out of it. And once we started having kids, the sympathy weight came on. And then in 2015, one of my swimmers, so I'm the aquatics director at this international school, which is the coolest job.
Yeah.
I don't actually teach courses. I'm in charge of the aquatics department, and we have swimming integrated into our school K through 12.
Awesome. Yeah,
which is
great.
Really cool. But one of my swimmers, who's a middle school student, showed up with number tattoos on his arm to swim practice one day. And I was like, oh, did you do a triathlon? And then started talking to him about triathlons. And then his dad apparently was a part of a tri club, the Soul Tri Club. And he came in and started talking to me about it. And it was just the right timing of, I had gotten to a point of lack of fitness that I was really searching for. I need to get this under control. I need to get back in shape.
Yeah.
So it was good timing. Piqued my interest again. Started training 2015. After 10 years of not really doing triathlons.
Yeah, that's a good downtime.
Yeah. So it was interesting getting back into it.
Yep. So what, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of weight did you get up to?
I don't know if I ever cracked 200, but I was also not eager. I don't know if I was eager to stand on scales though.
Yeah,
so,
I gotcha.
But in 2015, I dropped some 25 pounds that first year of training, which was really cool. And
yeah, a lot of times if it's not meant to be on you, it comes off pretty. It comes off pretty quick if once you fix some nutrition, up the training load, and the weight starts to come off.
Yeah, and it was extremely motivating too, because it just started coming off quickly. Yeah. And so that was motivating. Wanted to eat healthier. I used to have a hobby of home brewing in Korea. And
what?
Yeah, because when we first went to Korea, there was absolutely no good beer at all.
That's a shame.
So I picked up the hobby of home brewing.
Yeah.
But then in 2015, I stopped that hobby. And so a lot of...
We'll have to talk about this later.
A lot of the weight probably could be attributed
to stopping. This podcast is about to take a turn.
Stopping that hobby as well.
Gotcha.
So
you're just 2015. You're getting back into it. We losing the weight.
Losing the weight.
Have you started racing?
So the first triathlon that I did was an Olympic distance race in 2015 in Korea. And it's kind of a funny story, and it hits on the language barriers that that you experience and my ignorance of being out of triathlon for 10 years.
Yeah. So
I do the swim. I'm out in the lead and get on the bike like I would for any Dragonfly, Buffalo Bill that I used to do.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I get in the bike, no shirt, just start pounding it out, no shirt, because that's how I used to always race.
Yeah.
And this motorbike guy, after one loop on the bike, is coming up and trying to yell at me in Korean to stop. And I'm like, what? I'm winning. I need to keep going. And so this whole like charades then begins of communication. Gets me to stop, tells me I have to put on a shirt. And so then I stop at transition, have to run down, put on a shirt, run back up in my cycling shoes. And the only shirt that I had, because I didn't have like a race kit or anything, was it was just a running singlet.
Yeah.
So I threw on a running singlet that I was going to throw on during the run, and then biked in a running singlet the rest of the race, and ended up podium, third place in my age group, after being brought to a walk on the run because I was just not trained for it yet.
Yeah.
So, and I was a good cross country runner in high school when I weighed 150 pounds. Like I was, I was a sub 17 minute 5K runner in high school, but getting back into triathlon. So that's my mentality of what I was running wise. And then getting back into triathlons, much heavier. It was so humbling to try to run and then see these times. It was a struggle at first.
I think a lot of people struggle with that. Like especially like younger people getting into triathlon, or even like people who just got out of it and they might have like been in triathlon in their 20s and 30s and they were fast, and then they took a 10-year break, and now or whatever, however long, and then they get back into it and they think that they can just go straight back to running those paces and riding that at that level, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, so I had to come to terms with the process.
Sure.
That it wasn't going to be an overnight thing. So and the run still continues to be the biggest project for me.
Yeah. So
the cycling came pretty quickly, and the swim, at least the technique was always there. So I could, even at an easy pace, still be in good position coming out of the swim.
Yeah, because right now, like on an Olympic, what would you say your average swim time is?
Like 19:30.
Okay.
And that's a non-draft legal.
Yeah.
So I'm conserving for the rest of the race.
Yeah. I know you've had a couple that were like sub 18.
I've been 18:30.
Okay.
Around there. So if I'm going full throttle, that's probably I could pull out an 18 on a true course.
Yeah, sure.
And the swim times are always, it's so course dependent.
Yeah.
And
you never know, because those buoys could have easily moved.
Yeah.
With the wind, could have moved an extra 20 meters that way, and then the other one moves, and then that swim courses year to year even are. Yeah. It's a crapshoot. So how did you go from like getting back into it, losing weight, getting your fitness back, and then eventually kind of like getting to that level that I know we talked about, like to get your pro card in Korea, like the standards are what, like sub 420?
Yeah, for a half Ironman.
So if you're talking long course.
Yeah.
So how did you go from like getting back into it to like getting to that level where you could hit those standards?
Yeah, so I saw a steady progression towards, so 2016, then I won my age group series in Korea for the Korean Triathlon Federation, their series.
Okay.
And then 2017, I had a really good year where I PR'd my Olympic distance race, and I was 157 on an Olympic course, which that was kind of one of my goals getting back into it. I would love to be sub 2 in the Olympic triathlon non-draft. And so when I went 157, I started to think, maybe I could do this. And then I stretched to the half Ironman, and my first half Ironman in Korea, I won my age group and got my world's spot. So then went and raced in Worlds, which that's a whole nother story that I'll get to. But those performances kind of put the thought in my mind, like maybe I could take this to the next level. Yeah. And also in Korea, I was winning my age group, and so I went a full year kind of undefeated in my age group. Yeah. And I want to lose. I want to race competition that's going to stretch me. Right. So that was one of the main motivators for going pro, is the fact that I want to race better competition. Sure. And I want to stretch myself, see where the limit is, that kind of thing.
And that's what we were talking before we started here, it wasn't your desire to be a pro wasn't necessarily to just have that pro tag on your resume, or to try to make a real serious living off of it. It's just to be able to race the best competition you possibly can.
Yeah, and you introduced me as a pro triathlete, but I never introduced myself as a pro triathlete, because I'm technically a professional teacher at an international school. Yeah. And a triathlon hobby enthusiast who races in the elite category.
Well, I had, pro is relative to everything. I mean, there's plenty of pros in the United States that, I would say the majority of them don't make a living doing triathlon. So, I don't think that's necessarily the determining factor of if you're pro or not. I had a person say to me one time that they are not in the triathlon world, and they were like, they're like, oh, so you're like a pro triathlete? I was like, no. I was like, I'm a coach. And they're like, oh, so you get paid to swim, bike, and run? I'm like, indirectly. They're like, oh, well then you're a pro.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, if that's the case, I'm a professional swimmer too.
Exactly. Right. Right. So, it's all relative, but the fact is that you've performed on a level that is higher than most, and your driving factor was to, okay, let's see how good of competition I can take on and have to train, because your competition determines how hard you train for it, at the elite level. Yeah. You don't get to the pointy end without having somebody higher than you or somebody better than you. Yeah. So, I would say that's a better driving factor to becoming a pro than just to have that little tag on your name. Yeah. So you've gotten, so we've alluded to the fact that you're living in Korea, you're racing in Korea, you work in Korea. How would you say is the Korean culture for triathlon, versus the US?
Yeah, it's I probably don't know, I don't know very well what the U.S. culture actually is for triathlons, because I knew what it was in 2000, but I want to say it's growing in Korea. There's definitely a movement in Korea towards health and fitness in general. Awesome. Which is awesome. Whether it be obstacle racing, endurance trail running, like ultra marathoning, and triathlons, multi-sport, that is growing in Korea for sure. It's the community is extremely, they love group training. Yeah. They love so there's not much online coaching or individual coaching. It's all these groups that get together and train together in these clubs, which was really cool at first, and that was great for me to introduce back into triathlons. And the Soul Tri Club, they brought me in, and it was a good community to get me excited about training again, to get me, yeah.
Yep. So I want to jump gears a little bit, because this is kind of the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to get to today.
Yeah.
So you kind of you've taken this very, I mean, it's your Instagram handle, Family First Try.
Yep.
So you can, if you want to, follow Tim on his journeys, you can. It's at Family First Try, just straight on.
Family First Try.
Yeah. So so I wanted to get into how you first, what is Family First Try, and then how you balance family in your training, racing, in your efforts to be the best triathlete you can, because I think a number of people struggle with this, especially when they're on the competitive end of things. You want to do everything you have to do to feel good and feel like your fitness is growing, and and you freak out because you think one missed workout is going to be. But the fact is that if the family is not on board, you're rarely going to perform as well as you can, because either there's going to be extra stress added from the family, or you just feel guilty because you're not involved as much as you probably should be or could be. So first off, what is Family First Try?
Yeah, Family First Try was, we had a big picture of it becoming, and we still have this vision of it becoming more than just my family, that it's more of like a community that encourages people to put their family first in all pursuits in life, really. But when Kirsten, my wife, and we sat down, and when I was thinking about first going the pro route, and I was like, if I do this, I can't really do it halfway. It's not my personality. I've got to go full on. What is that going to do to our family? And so we kind of started this as a vision statement, kind of, for my pursuit in triathlons. And we're like, if we're going to do this, we have to do this as a family. Yep. And so it's not just about me trying to get the best performances I can get and the best places I can get in triathlons. It's about the family, every member of the family benefiting from my pursuit in triathlons. So we talk about how it helps redefine our nutrition as a family, which was one of the biggest impacts that I think all of this has had on my family. Is we've completely changed our family nutrition around this, and it's benefited my wife, it's benefited my kids.
Sure.
And then ultimately it was also like kind of like a veto card for my wife. From the very beginning, I gave her, she always has the veto card to say, no, you can't get on the bike today. I need a night off.
Yeah.
You got to watch the kids. She always has that veto card. So laying the ground rules from the beginning and laying our vision out there that our family was going to come first in training, racing. So even the races that I pick to go to, it's I have the focus of what can we do family-wise when we're going to these races, or how can they help?
Yeah.
Support-wise, my wife, she also, how can I involve the family in at the races, engage them in cheering for them, not just cheering for him, but cheering for all the athletes.
Yeah.
What can the kids learn from being at these races about? And so we talk a lot about it. And it was really cool after doing the Buffalo Bill just the other week.
Yeah.
I came home and my oldest son, Titus, was like, Dad, how'd you do? What was your race like? I was like, well, actually I didn't do very good. I didn't do my personal best time, and I didn't feel very good. It was like, and he's just offered me up some kind encouragement. Well, it's just one race, and you'll do better next time, that kind of thing. But just they've learned that winning isn't everything.
Yeah.
They've learned the importance of health and fitness. They've learned all of that through this endeavor of family first.
No, I mean, I've been kind of following you guys on Instagram and social media and stuff, and just kind of, it just seems like it looks, I know that Instagram and social media is like, our life is perfect. Like, look at how awesome this is. But like, for the most part, it looks like you guys do a really good job at integrating the kids and the whole family into your training, your racing, everything. Like, even on vacations, when you have to train on vacations, they're involved in that, like, to some extent.
So we've had a lot of fun with our spring break the past few years, because spring break is that perfect time for me to get in a training camp. I get a week off of work, and it's usually a month before my first race. Just is how it fits. So it's like, this is a great time for a good week-long training camp. And so what we've done the past 3 years now is we've designed a spring break where we like to be outdoors. We like to go camping, sightseeing, things like that. So we've designed our spring break to get the kids outside exercising, but also from point to point in our spring break, I ride from one destination to the next destination while they're in the car, and then they go check into the hotel or check into the campsite wherever we might be staying. And even some of it, we did a family bike trip one year. And I did this, it was one of the hardest exercise days I've ever had. We had this, it was about a 30-kilometer bike ride. But what I was doing, because we had the car, we had our bikes and the bike trailer, and we're going down the path, and I kind of played this leapfrog game where I would bike with the family, pull the kids. We'd go maybe 10 kilometers to the next playground or something. I'd run back, get the car, drive it 10 kilometers past them, then run back to them, get on the bike. And so we did this leapfrog. So it might have only been 30 kilometers of riding, but I also got like 20 kilometers of running.
That's a massive day.
And the kids got plenty of time cycling and playing on playgrounds. And it was, so just kind of being creative.
So I mean, the big thing I'm taking out of that is be creative, and you have to plan. Like, you got to plan ahead. I know, like, a lot of the people that come to us for coaching, like, one of the biggest things, like, just giving them any type of structure with a proper, like, prescription of intensity and recovery, they'll get better. They'll improve, just because of prior to, they did zero planning. They'll wake up that morning and be like, oh, what do I need to do today? And they just do that. And then, they still log everything. And if you look back, they do a lot of what they're really good at, and they're like, so the planning goes a long way, and not just your workout, your layout, your program, but it works for getting that stuff in. And I know a lot of people, use their commute to work, like as a workout. Or we went to, for the 4th of July, we went to Table Rock Lake up in Missouri, and a friend of ours who lives in Bentonville rode there.
Oh,
it's
nice.
like an 80-mile ride from their house, mix of gravel and road, and so he got in a nice long ride while we were in the car for 6 hours, 7 hours.
I do that every Sunday pretty much. We go to church in the late afternoon. And so every Sunday, there's always traffic driving home. So it takes Kristen and the kids at least 30 minutes or so to drive home from church. Well, it's 10 kilometers from our house by bike path and running path. So I run home from church every Sunday. If it's a recovery run, then I just run an easy 10K home. But I can also make a longer 15, 20 kilometer loop if I need to. But it's so if I get in an hour of running, 30 minutes of that, Kristen's just in the car with the kids. So really, time-wise, away from the kids and not helping Kristen at home, it's only 30 minutes that I'm taking away from her rather than a full hour workout. So trying to figure out, when I plan my training schedule, trying to figure out little things like that, that where I can get the most bang for my buck, not necessarily training-wise, but most bang for my buck, time away from family.
If you look at it, if you do look at it in the sense of how long are you out of pocket, not necessarily what's the total training duration, but how long am I not like with the family, that type of thing. That's a great way to look at it. Do you have any other tips, like any like tricks, tips, anything that you personally use for like integrating the family into training racing?
Yeah, I've drifted away from being overly obsessive about training numbers, whether it be training stress scores or and I've found that even something as simple as going to the grocery store with the kids, I can cause stress to my body by carrying kids, by doing playing with them on the escalators, which I probably shouldn't do, but there's your total fitness is the sum of everything you do in life. It's not just the hour you spend on the bike or the hour that you spend in the pool. So there's a lot of ways, if you're creative, to find fitness, to stress your body, to stress your system, even when you're not on the bike or
like mowing the lawn in 110 degree heat index. I did that yesterday, and I think I lost about 10 pounds.
There you go. So little things like that. And one thing that I've personally done is I've drifted a lot of my cycling on the trainer. That two reasons for that. One is the time-wise with family. More bang for my buck, but also because of air pollution in Korea's and Seoul's pretty bad. It's at times. But it really does, just having your bike set up, being able to jump on it, is I can get the same amount of work done in a much shorter amount of time. So
that's definitely a tactic that I use personally. Is just going for convenience, and making that time block that would normally be me getting all my stuff ready. And then, you have to look at it, the whole thing, not just the time you're on the bike, but the time it takes you to put your gear on and pump your tires and go, and then come back and then get you back to where you can be back with the family. So like a lot of times I divert to the trainer or the treadmill, or even I've got a system where I can swim in the pool, like a tether back here, just to cut down, especially the swimming, because the 20-minute trip there, getting ready, it's an hour that you're not, like, you're traveling. Like, you're not actually doing work. So, I can jump in here and get it in an hour and 15, and I'm saving 45 minutes, of time, not going back and forth from the pool. But I probably do a lot more indoor training than most people would like to do, just because of the convenience factor.
I'd say I'm similar. I do as much outdoor running as I can, just because I can't stand treadmills. But
I love treadmills.
I need to learn to love treadmills.
I tell myself that.
But yeah, indoor training is. I also have with the swimming. I have it pretty easy because I work at a pool, so I can jump in during a lunch break. And get swims in extremely easy, and it's not like I even have to change clothes afterwards because I'm in my work clothes.
That is convenient.
So
awesome. Anything else you got? Any other tips, tricks? Anything you want to shout out? Anybody you want to give props to?
Yeah, annyeong haseyo to all the Koreans. And definitely my wife, she
I'm not sure if she's watching, but
no, she's pretty amazing at, and she's quite accomplished herself. She's done some triathlons. She did a 5K open swim at the Guam Cocos Crossing, which is really cool. And I think that once the adoption and everything's complete, she'll start training again. And so it does help. I was talking to her the other day about this. It does help that if we were both equally obsessed with triathlons, it probably makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure there are some people out there that know how to do this a lot better than we do.
Yeah, they don't have kids.
But the fact that she loves playing the support role.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely humbled by her spirit, because she actually enjoys playing that support role for me and the family. She takes a lot of pride in it.
It does make things easier for sure.
So
awesome, man. Well, we appreciate your time coming in and hanging out with us, and we appreciate you guys listening, watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Adios.